I'm going to give you the first example and walk you through it. Cats with long hair shed all over the house, you should not get a long-haired cat. I have heard also they have lots of fleas. If this is my first time looking at these problems, I'm going to have to figure out how to find the conclusion. So I'm going to give you some approaches as to how to find the argument and how to lay it out in what we call standard form. So the first thing that I'm going to have to do, or the easiest way to approach this, is to find the conclusion. How? I'm going to give you 3 possible ways, and I'm going to give you a warning. 1, you're going to look for indicator words, and you have a list of those in your book. Number 2, I'm going to ask, what is the author trying to persuade me of? Number 3, I'm going to look for should not, must, or any kind of imperative exhorting you to do something. Here's my warning. Know that the rules I give you in terms of finding a conclusion and premise are not hard and fast. You are going to have to think through each and every problem, and you are going to have to do the hard work. This is why we call it critical thinking, and why most people don't want to do critical thinking. It's a lot of work. But you will see that in these problems, sometimes the rules will hold and sometimes they won't. Indicator words could be indicator words, or they could be meaningless. And that's why you have to be on guard for each and every problem. So let's try our rules. Cats with long hair shed all over the house, so you should not get a long-haired cat. I have heard that they also have lots of fleas. So let's find the conclusion. That's our first job. And number 1, is there an indicator word? Nope. So let's try something else. And I have to tell you, if you can find an indicator word, you're halfway home. So I would look for that first. Other books will tell you other strategies, but I think that's the best one. Cats with long hair shed all over the house, so you should not get a long-haired cat. I have heard that they also have lots of fleas. So second try with our second approach. What is the author trying to persuade me of? Now, if you're having trouble at this point in figuring that out, what you can do is employ the third step and look for the should not, must, or any kind of imperative that's exhorting you to do something. Pretty quickly, I can see that I should not get a long-haired cat is jumping off the page at me. Naturally, unless we are super passive peeps, when we are told to do or not to do something, we want to know why. Screams in our head, right? So if I have the conclusion right, I can quickly tell, if I do, by noticing that I'm going to start looking for reasons, or fancy word for reasons, premises, that are going to provide good evidence of why I should or shouldn't. So, why shouldn't I get a long-haired cat? If I really want one, and the author is telling me that I shouldn't get one, he better have some pretty good reasons why. I'm going to give you a hint here. Sometimes I have to reword things, or remove words, or rearrange sentences to find all the clues. Notice in our first sentence, we had actually our conclusion and one of our premises stuck together. You're going to have to look for those kinds of things. So the best idea is what your book asks you to do, and it says to read the problem and then to mark the premises and then to mark the conclusion. Now, you don't have to get your premises in the exact order, but you should know what the premises are, and then you should know what the conclusion is. Your conclusion should always be at the bottom, and your premises should always be above it, and I'll show you how that works. We are now going to lay this out in standard form. Notice my arrow. Notice below it, it says, important concept for future exams. Students say to me, I didn't know we had to put it in standard form. I don't even know what standard form is. Here it is. This is standard form. If I'm going to lay it out, and standard form means that I'm taking the skeleton of the argument. I'm taking out all the fillers, I'm taking out unnecessary words, and I'm just telling you in very simple terms what the author is trying to persuade me of. So, notice at the bottom, I have a conclusion. You should not get a long-haired cat. warning bells are going to go off in my head. Why not? Why shouldn't I get a long-haired cat? Reason number one, cats with long hair shed all over the house. Number two, I have heard that they also have lots of fleas. Pretty good reasons for not getting a long-haired cat. Now, I may say, well, even short-haired cats do that, but that's a problem for another time. Right now, our only job is to lay out the argument as the author intends it to be. This is what we call being charitable to the argument. And this separates good logicians from bad logicians, good critical thinkers from bad critical thinkers. What you want to do is do your first job, which is to analyze and pull out what the premises and the conclusion are. Worry about the other stuff for another day.